Hello, this is Lotfi speaking. Showing you here about how to replace a DC socket on an E machine, or basically how to open it. First, turn it upside down. I'm here taking off all the screws behind it. Every screw that you can see, you gotta take out from the bottom of the laptop. There are screws that hold covers, and the rest hold the whole laptop together. So here I'm taking them all off. Of course, you gotta take the battery and the charger, and then I turn the laptop back on and take the front power button cover. Then the keyboard comes out. Once the all the screws from the back are out, the power button cover comes off easily. After that, then you take the screws out on top of the cover, then right there, and then the top casing should come out along with the screen. Here I'm taking the screen connector, the inverter connector from the motherboard to the screen. Taking off also the screw that holds the DVD drive into the motherboard. Some other connectors as well. This is for the fan. There's also the wireless cables. The wireless cables run from the screen to the bottom of the motherboard, so you gotta disconnect those as well. There's always two, either a white or black. In this case, a gray or black. Some Dells have 4 cables, not just 2. And you just use a screwdriver and you take the pins out of the wireless card. There was just one screw there that's quite difficult to take, and it's the only screw that will let you remove the whole top from the bottom, and there you go. Then it comes out easily, just like that, along with the screen. You don't have to take the screen. It's along. Now I've got the motherboard left with the bottom casing. So I just look for screws that are holding the motherboard into the bottom casing. I'm sliding out the DVD drive. There's one there. There's about 3 or 4, I would guess, to take the motherboard out of the casing. And then here we'll look at the DC socket that's broken inside, which is quite loose, so I'm just gonna change it. Here, to change the DC socket, I'm using air soldering. Obviously you probably don't have that at home or at your workplace, so I'll show you again how to use the normal soldering iron, but with the hot air, it can be done in less than 1 minute. You just turn the socket upside down. This is the old one, and I'm taking all the solder out that's holding it together, and using a sucking tool to suck that melted solder out. So here I'm using your normal electric soldering iron. You have to have a pretty powerful one, not the ones that cost £2 and £3 from the market. You really have to get a good one that can do up to 300 Cs. So put it on maximum, and try and take out the old socket by adding new solder on top of the pins and melting that new solder to melt the old solder, and then sucking that up with the sucking tool with the pipe. Takes much more longer. It could take up to 10 minutes doing that, working it out on each pin. You would have around 5 pins for each DC socket. Some you have just 3, so you just have to take all the old soldering out and suck it, just like I'm doing now. And each time you think you've taken a bit, use a plier or something, and then try and pull the old DC socket, see if it comes out easily. If I'm using the hot air desoldering tool, the old DC socket will just drop just like that. But with the electrical one, I always have to make sure use something like that and try and take it out, but don't break it. Just make sure it comes out all in one piece. Oh, and here it came out all in one piece. This is the old one. Okay, so I'm gonna now put a new one in there. Before you put a new one, just make sure you use a brush and brush the area and make sure the positive is not hooking up to the negative with the solder that's left. Don't add glue or silicone seal. That's not good at all. Don't add any glue. People say, oh, add glue. It's not gonna change anything. It will just make it worse. Glue is liquidish. It will cause shorting in the end, and it will just make a whole big mess. So here, when you put the new new DC socket, you just solder it all back on. Just put a little bit. Make sure you have this. Don't put too much. Just a little. Make sure it really melts all the way down. Just make some nice mobs. Here I'm also taking the advantage to clean my fan from dust and add a new grease for the processor. So I just took out the screws from the heatsink fan and put new thermal grease. You know, you should do that with your laptop because it's probably the only chance you get to open it, and there's most likely you'll find a lot of dust which will cause overheating and a lot more problems. So just do that. It's pretty easy. And now I'm putting it back together. The bottom case first. The motherboard goes into there, obviously in the right position, the right way, and then you slide it in, making sure you fit the DC socket and the VGA port first into the hole, then the rest goes easy later. You put the screws that hold the motherboard into the bottom casing, and then slide in the DVD just how we took it out, just simply backwards. That's all. Put the screws in there. There's 3 or 4. They in this particular model they are metallic ones. You put the top case on top of that along with the screen, which is already hooked up to it. Then I connect the connectors back on, such as mouse, screen, inverter cables. This inverter cable, this laptop has inverter separate. The rest of the laptops don't have that cable. They just have screen and mouse and fan. Fan connector is very important. If you took it out, make sure you put it back in. And then I'm connecting the keyboard back on and putting the screws for the top case first, and then make sure it's all tight. The power panel, and then turn the laptop upside down and put all the screws back for the laptop. If you have the exact same laptop, I suggest to hook up the hard drive when the laptop is apart first, because it was difficult to put the hard drive back on. Couldn't get the pins to go all the way. For these E-machines, they're E-machines, they crap, but what do you expect? Then you hook up the wireless connectors pins, black. It doesn't matter which one goes. You know, if one goes the other one there goes the other way, it will still work. It doesn't matter. So you just use your finger and pop them in. Put the wireless cover on, and then there's still the memory in there to put. DDR memory goes in. Make sure you hit the click and then cover it on top with its cover. Put the screw back on, put the battery back on, and there you go. You've changed the DC socket and you've opened it, put it back on. Now these are the side covers for the hinges. DC sockets on an E-machine or on most laptops, or how you open them. This is Reply for Reply, official channel for laptop repairs. Bye bye.